Well, hello, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all fighting fit and well. Well, this is part two of the video I did last week on Bear Island at La Perouse in Botany Bay in Sydney. Once again, I left home at stupid o'clock time, very early. We have a low tide now, which is great, which will enable me to get under the bridge and take those iconic shots that I was talking about last week. I don't know what the sky is going to do today. They're predicting rain here later on, so we might have a bit of cloud, which is okay. We can work with that. But other than that, I'm just waiting for the big dance to start. Once the light comes up, I'll turn the video camera back on and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing, how I'm photographing this area, and what settings I'll be probably using today. Before I went home last week, I scouted around and found some more compositions, so I'll be shooting those compositions today and I'll take you along for the ride. So once again, we'll just wait for the big dance to start. Once that happens, I'll set everything up, turn the video camera back on, and I'll take you through the process here at Bear Island, La Perouse in Sydney. Okay guys, welcome back. Look, I've just taken a few shots here. I've actually changed to the left-hand side of the bridge. One free tip I can give you is that if you're shooting in very low light conditions and you're on manual focus, which actually you probably have to be on manual focus because autofocus probably won't work when you've got a very dark foreground, what I like to do is to light up the foreground in front of the camera and focus on the light, set your aperture to what you want it to set at, and that means that your focusing will be pin sharp because you're using the light that you're placing in front of the camera. And I use a Milwaukee head torch here, great piece of kit. I just light the front of the foreground. I probably shine the light about 1/3 into the image, and then I focus on that, and that way I know, regardless of how dark it is, I know that the image will be in focus. So try that little tip. You can use a head torch or a normal torch, or even the torch or the light on your phone. Just light up 1/3 in front of your camera if you've got a very dark foreground, especially when it's very low light like it was half an hour ago, and you'll find that once you focus on that, that your focusing will be pin sharp. Now, the light really hasn't been all that great today. I thought I'd get some pink colour, might get a little bit of pink coming through off the headland over there in about 10 or 15 minutes time. But it is low tide, and now I'm going to go down to the bottom of the bridge and shoot underneath the bridge, and this is the shot I've been wanting to get for a few weeks now. So I'll turn the video camera off, I'll scramble down the rock face here, and then I'll set the camera back up and I'll show exactly how I'm going to photograph under this timber structure here. Okay, so basically that's what I'm looking at, straight through the pylons, straight through the stanchions. I've taken a couple of shots at different focal lengths, anywhere from 17 up to 40 millimetre. Shutter speed round about, looking at about a 2-second exposure with an aperture of f11 to f16. Obviously at f16 my shutter is a lot slower, around about 4 seconds, but that's the scene I'm looking at. It's not too bad. We're starting to get a little bit of pink in the sky to the left. I don't know whether you can see that in the video or not, but that might help me a little bit later on. You really can't pick it up in this video at the moment, but I'm looking at it and it's starting to show a little bit of pink, so that might work in our favour. But this is the shot that I'm trying to achieve here, straight through the stanchions, and yeah, look, we'll just see how we go with this. Well, as you can see, I'm now under the bridge, and it's low tide now, and this is the only time you can actually get to it. But as you can see, I'm going to be shooting straight through the middle of the bridge. Now, there's a couple of problems. There's always problems. There's a lot of shadow, obviously, in the top of the walkway or the top of the bridge. So the metering will be a bit tricky, but I will get around that. There's ways we can do that. I'll probably focus stack this image only because I want it to be pin sharp all the way through. I'll probably shoot at f11 anyway, but I'll take 3 or 4 images one after another. I'll focus stack this because I want it to be pin sharp, because I'm going to print this one out. I've got a location back at the workers' cottage where I want to hang it up. So quite a nice scene. We have these rock pools that water have remained here from the high tide, and then you've got all these barnacles and things. A really nice composition here, and it was really well worth it leaving home at stupid time this morning to get here to photograph this this iconic location. Seriously, it's you know, if you're in Sydney, you've got to come here and photograph this place. It just screams out composition. So I'll set the camera up and I'll explain to you what I'm doing, trying to capture this underneath this bridge. Okay, I've changed positions now. I've just come out from underneath the bridge and I'm shooting at a sort of like a 90-degree angle to the bridge, which is creating a nice top edge of the frame, and it's working out towards the island. There's a few clouds in the sky. It's not really all that exciting, but what I'm going to do now, I'm going to introduce some filtration to see if I can bring that sky down a bit, just to even out the exposure. Okay, I've just put on the Nisi circular polarizer just to see if I can bring out the detail in those clouds. The sky's not too bad now. 10 minutes ago it was absolutely atrocious. And this is what I love about landscape photography. I mean, you know, the old saying, you win some, you lose some, but you've got to dress for all of them. And it's never been more true than here this morning. So, but I've got the Nisi circular polarizer on. I'll take a few more images. The exposure's working out really nicely now. With the Nisi circular polarizer, I can crank it up to about 30–40%, and that'll bring out the detail in the sky, and these clouds are starting to move this way. And with a slightly slower exposure, I should get some nice definition in the sky, and that'll balance the image out. Once again, I'm going to focus stack this. 3 images, foreground, midground, background, changing the shutter speed, of course, as I'm doing that. But overall, it's just a beautiful place to come and photograph, really. But we'll take a few more shots, and then I'll come back to you very shortly. Okay, so that's the scene that I'm looking at. As you can see in the video here, in the angle, I've come to the sort of like the left-hand side of the bridge, and it's not too bad. The circular polarizer is working wonders. obviously in the video the sky looks washed out from what you're seeing, but from what I'm seeing through the camera with the circular polarizer, I'm bringing out all the detail in the sky. Basically, this is perfect light now for what I want to do. This is a classic example of just waiting. Slow down and just wait for the light to happen. It's just beautiful being here anyway, so just take your time, and every couple of minutes the light is just changing. I've set the camera up to take a shot every 20 seconds, and because the light's changing very quickly, so that way I'm out of all those images, I've got one or two that I can really nail and you know, put it through post edit and just tweak it a little bit. But I have got the camera now set on continuous shooting frames of every 20 seconds, and it seems to be working out very well, because every frame that I've taken, and I took 10 in a period of say every 20 seconds, every image was different because the light was changing very quickly. This is where you really have to know your equipment and to be able to work this camera, or work your camera without even thinking about it. You've got to know, you should be able to walk into a really dark room and turn that camera on and use all the dials and functions without even looking at it. So one free tip there, get to know your equipment, and it just makes your workflow a lot easier and a lot quicker. Not too bad. It's turning out to be a pretty good morning. Okay, I have the camera down low here now, and the reason for that is that I wanted the bridge in the top right hand corner of the frame, and I've got all this beautiful rock as a foreground element, and it just shows you that it is a seascape sort of image with all the rock and the wet surface of the rocks, and yeah, it's proving to be probably a little bit difficult because the sun is now changing everything here, and I've got to react very quickly. As you can see, I'm getting brighter because that's the sun's coming over. I think this will probably be about the last shot of the day today, but it hasn't been too bad. I grabbed some pretty good shots, not many, but the ones I got were pretty good. So I've got the camera down low only because I can get that foreground into the image, and it'll lead the eye along the face of the bridge.